organizations. Driver's training enables you to become an authorized driver for your student organization or any other student organization for 1 year. Is it within your group's mission to lobby state lawmakers about lowering tuition? Then you'll need to go to Salem, where the lawmakers are. How will you get there? Where will you get the vehicle? How do you pay for gas? What happens if your authorized driver leaves the group? And when is it time to return home when you have no one who is authorized to drive? This session will offer basic information on Oregon University System, Portland State University, and SALP policies and procedures around driving as a representative of the. After completion of this tutorial, you will understand why you need an authorized driver for travel. You'll understand the importance of following policy and procedure while traveling for student organization business, and you'll understand how to develop a travel plan and set up a successful trip. You cannot drive for the university without being authorized, but students have not always had access to authorization, and not all universities allow students to drive. In 1997, state legislature gave PSU students the privilege to drive cars under the state of Oregon. It wasn't always a right. It was a real accomplishment to gain these privileges. Student activities and leadership programs, along with campus recreation, develop the PSU driving policy along with frequently asked questions and emergency accident protocol in order to have a clear understanding of what is expected of our students who drive on behalf of the university. These guidelines and policies give us a framework to show OUS and PSU our accountability to the students and the students' accountability to the university. In addition to the policy manual and FAQ, you must read the Dean of Student Life Code of Conduct, as you will be held to this standard as you represent the university off campus. You must complete this training at least 10 business days before your group hopes to travel. Training includes watching this module, completion and submission of the authorized driver form in OrgSync, completion of the online alert driving coursework, and receiving approval of your driving record from a SALP advisor. You will not be approved to drive if you've had a DUI within the past 3 years, or you've had a careless driving violation, which is 21 miles per hour over the speed limit, within the past year, or you've had 2 or more moving violations within the past year. Your advisor has the final approval and tends to approve records in a cautious manner. It's your responsibility to tell us within 5 business days if your license has been suspended or you have had one of the above major violations. With this vehicle, you are an agent of the state. You are representing every student in the state of Oregon. Because you are making decisions and acting on behalf of your passengers, there are a few guidelines to keep in mind. Faculty, staff, even the president use the same enterprise rental contract, so your actions can have ramifications for the whole university. Remember that you are responsible for your peers, and your peers deserve to be safe. Have a co-pilot who will handle cell phones, map reading, radio adjustment, keeping you awake and distraction-free. Don't speed. Stay in the middle lane whenever it's possible, as this gives you more ways to get out of the way should you need to. You will need one more driver than number of vehicles. If your trip is more than 4 hours in duration, you need to trade off after 4 hours of driving and have a break of at least 1 hour before you may drive again. There's absolutely no driving between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., as instructed by the Dean of Student Office. Use common sense and don't park in front of a strip club or liquor store or any place where people might question state money being used for the visit. Any complaint or traffic violation that is reported to the state is forwarded directly to your advisor. Advisors will revoke privileges after 2 citizen complaints or traffic violations. Parking tickets will eventually work their way back to the person who checked out the vehicle. You are responsible for any parking ticket fees. Tickets cannot be paid with state money. To use a vehicle for travel for your student organization, you'll need to fill out these forms: the authorized driver form, the vehicle request form, and the liability waiver. You must fill out the vehicle request form a minimum of 20 business days prior to travel to use an enterprise or personal vehicle. Ideally, you want to submit these forms as soon as travel is planned, because vehicles may be unavailable on short notice. You'll also need to attach exact directions, a map, and a travel itinerary to this form. The SALP accountant will make your vehicle reservation. You'll receive an email from your SALP advisor to schedule a meeting to review your vehicle confirmation and gas card checkout date and time. Please plan accordingly. If you're driving a personal vehicle, we must have a copy of your personal insurance coverage and a copy of your vehicle registration attached to the form. You may also come by the SALP office to drop off a copy of these things. SALP needs a liability waiver form signed for each person in the vehicle. Per PSU's contract with Enterprise, all passengers in an Enterprise vehicle must be over 18 years old. You can locate the forms by logging onto OrgSync, going to the Student Admin Club, and then clicking on Forms. Here you'll be able to find the Authorized Driver form, the Liability Waiver, and the Vehicle Request form. If you're not a student officer, you can also find these forms located on the SALP website. Go to the SALP website, click on Student Group Resources, and then Forms, and there you'll be able to find the Authorized Driver form and the Liability Waiver. Please take a few minutes to review basic driving policy. There are a lot of details, but it's your responsibility to review the policy in its entirety. Take a few minutes and scroll over each category of policies to hear more about. As an authorized driver, your responsibilities are to make sure all participants are present, verify all participants are listed on an official travel roster, and that your advisor has an accurate travel roster on file at all times. Respond to minor travel issues such as hotel reservations and vehicle problems. You're also in charge of enforcing driver changes and mandatory rest stops, and checking out the gas card and travel bag from the SALP accountant. It's also your responsibility to return the gas card and travel bag to the SALP office within 1 business day of your return. In case of an emergency, the first thing to remember is to be safe and stay calm. PSU will back you up as long as you are driving lawfully. Call 911 Enterprise and your advisor or campus public safety office immediately. You can find this contact information in your travel confirmation. If you have an accident, make sure you complete a police accident report at the scene. If the officer at the scene does not provide you with an accident report, you can ask the SALP office for one. For any accident, please come see the SALP office coordinator to fill out a PSU incident report. Now that you've completed this portion of the training, please submit the Authorized Driver form in OrgSync if you haven't already. This will prompt us to set you up with Alert Driving. Look for an email from alertdriving.com. If you don't have one by the end of the day, contact the office coordinator at 503-725-5966. Please review the driving policy manual and FAQs. The answers to the online quizzes will be found in this material. You must pass both the policy and driving quizzes through alertdriving.com. Once you pass the quizzes, we will receive your motor vehicle request, review your file, and then send you an email regarding your authorized driving status. Make sure to schedule a 30-minute meeting with your advisor to go over your planned trip, forms, itinerary, etc. Make sure to request the gas card for every trip. Take possession of the gas card the day before your trip if that is possible. The earlier in the day, the better. Return the card the next business day with all receipts. And be safe.